After their first loss in the month of January in quite some time, the Edmonton Oilers road trip hits its final destination, the Windy City, Chicago, for a meeting with the Blackhawks down at the United Center. A little Saturday early, and I don't think it's the first game on Hockey Night in Canada, because I do believe the Leafs are playing. You know how that goes. But hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giants. Pregaming is also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Let's check in with the chat. Because, people, we got a super chat to kick things off. Remember, all of your super chat donations in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. And, people, we got an event coming up soon for that Ben Stelter Foundation. More on that. Keep it locked on the ON socials, but it's QF Pro. First comment of the day and a super chat. We're starting off damn good today. It's QF Pro. Says, okay, last pre-gaming I donated and we lost, but one game a pattern does not make, and it's for a good cause. That's what we like to see, QF Pro. Ooh. Lance is in, and I saw your DM, Lance. He said, Bordzy, are you going to Sum 41 next Friday? I do believe so. I've got some extra tickets that Buddy's got. I do believe I'm going. I always thought the Oilers were playing on Friday, but it's the final tour of Sum 41. Nice. Favorite band of all time. You also just echoed that. Maybe not favorite, but they rock.
They were my very first band that I saw, grade 10, Shaw Conference Center, Sum 41, Goldfinger. It was quite a time. First mosh pit, too.
Dude, you never forget your first mosh pit. You never forget the first time you get absolutely fucking drilled in a mosh pit, and you have to pick yourself up off the floor and go, woo, get back in there. I also saw Lance this summer. We went to Punk and Drublic, the music festival. I saw Lance going hard in the mosh pit at points. I almost lost my shoulder also. Oh, as you can tell, Sean Panganiban also joining me this evening for pre and for post. We got producer Brett Holden behind the scenes.
How's it going?
Are you wearing your Dodgers World Series championship shirt?
Yeah, I am. It says Ohtani on the back, too. So all this Blue Jays talk everyone's talking about, I can't relate to. But talking about mosh pits, my first ever actual mosh pit, I went to Suicide Boys a couple of years ago. It was fantastic, and I lost my $30 shirt that I bought in the mosh pit. But it was fantastic. Nice. I drug all my friends into it. I said, I'm going. I don't care. I had back problems, drank a lot earlier that day, and I said, I don't care. And it was fantastic. So.
Anytime I'm moshing and I get a concert t-shirt, it basically just becomes a human sweat towel. So you didn't want that back anyways, Brett. You didn't want that back.
I should have thought about that.
Come on. Back to the chat. Austin says, all you fine nation citizens, make sure to get your likes up in this chat today. And remember, Saturday night's all right for an Oilers W, courtesy of a Hawks ass kicking. Let's go, Oilers. Start a new streak. Happy game day. And it's a Brett. What's the final thing say there in 2 words, capital letters? Cup year. Rusty's also in and says the Chargers-Texans game has been a snooze fest. I'm ready for Oilers hockey. Ass, mega ass is what we said that this game has looked like so far. Cup years all over the place. And I love you all. Fighting Amish said no effects rules. Facts, absolute facts. They tore up Punk and Drublic. It was a great time. Panganiban, though, how you been, brother? We haven't seen you on pre and post in quite a bit. You did bring snacks, so you already hit your quota. We like that there. Yep. How was your Christmas? How was your winter break and everything?
Christmas was good. I'm actually looking at the camera, and if you guys see me that I'm stretching my neck out, I did get a little bit of extra skin here over the Christmas holidays. So is it good? Yeah.
Extra skin?
Double chin.
Oh,
double chin, actually. Yeah. So
that was a good holiday.
Good on the camera here. And you know what? One thing I did change up today.
Yeah, you're right. I got to do that too. What's up, guys?
Why do you think I have a beard?
I just put on a fresh batch of lip chap, and it feels very refreshing. So
my boys are looking good. We've also got intern Reese with us today. Reese, I totally forgot, but you're gonna have to give me another betting pick today. You went 1 for 1. So you got roughly 15 minutes to research that bad boy. And I told him on the first one on Tuesday he was here, said your entire internship rides on it. Give me one pick tonight. And He hit it.
No
Evan
way.
Bouchard over 2.5 shots. But I'm happy to see you all. We got a good Saturday going on. I mentioned NFL football is happening. Brett, did you watch college football last night?
Last night? No,
Ohio
actually,
State?
no.
Yeah.
I watched
They're gonna win
Notre
it all.
Dame, though, which I called all week saying that they were going to win. And then I saw that they had a flu the entire week, and I bet that they were going to lose. So my ego is feeling good, but my bank account ain't so much.
You're all over the place, brother. Well, keep it ready. If you got a spider for me letter, I will take it.
Actively making it.
Attaboy, Birds. That's why we love you. I would ask you for your NFL picks. Maybe we'll do that at the end. I just saw Nico Collins also just scored. But before we talk about this game and unpack Oilers and Hawks, Panger, I want to talk to you about some news we got yesterday in Oilers land. Evander Kane underwent successful knee surgery. Now, he called it a simple knee scope, said it was nothing structural, no repair work, I think was the words that he used in there as well. He said it would be a quick recovery as far as the knee, but it's not what's been keeping him out all season long, which is a whole mess of abdominal injuries going on in there. He seemed in his interview pretty upbeat about this is a pretty simple surgery. I'll be back. I joked to you. He had this glimmer in his eye of just like, oh, it's going to take me exactly to when the beginning of the NHL playoffs start. I can't believe that that's going to happen. Shout out you, Stan Bowman. Shout out the entire team. And I, for one, totally in support of this. Obviously, creates $5.125 million at the trade deadline. You can play with if he gets LTIR there, but same thing. Kaner's a guy who plays physical, and that's putting it lightly. If his body's not up to par, I need him to be that way. Because for him to be successful in the NHL playoffs, his body's got to be feeling good. We saw the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. He was an animal, a dog out there, beating up Nikita Zadorov specifically, and then he just couldn't do it anymore. Barely played. Obviously didn't play in the Stanley Cup Finals. But Evander Kane, I looked it up. He's played 930 career games in the NHL. A lot of those with that physical aspect, that bang and crash style. Totally in favor of this Kaner. I mean, like, there's a debate of, well, will he be up to conditioning stint when the NHL playoffs? I just said it. He's played 930 games. I think Kaner knows what it takes. He'll make sure his body's prepared. I'm totally in favor of this. I love this move. Thoughts on it? Were you surprised at all? Did you see that little glimmer in Kaner's eye that I was talking about? Thoughts on the operation news?
I would like to preface this with a quote, and I'll say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Damn right, brother.
No, they're not cheating.
I'm a Patriots fan. I'm a Patriots
100%
fan.
within the rules. But what we were talking about this a little bit earlier. One thing that we stood out to us in the interview, there was a lot of green. There's a lot of green background. There's a nice green sweater. And we just looked up what that definition of a man wearing green from fashion psychology, it stands for renewal and hope. So I think Evander Kane is hoping to be back for the playoffs. And I could almost say, yeah, he's going to be back for the playoffs. But yeah.
Also, I knew Doug Way was going to chirp me. He just said, Bordzy, what drink is that? It was water, okay? It's 4 p.m.
Straight vodka.
We got a whole...
It's just all vodka. You should have saw him poured in. It was sad.
We're pre-gaming, baby, but we're put pedal to the metal like I want the Edmonton Oilers to do. Damon says it here, use every advantage possible. My line is always, you don't hate the player, you hate the game.
Yeah.
You hate the system if you can cheat it. I was pissed at the Vegas Knights, but you understood it. It happened with Nikita Kucherov before. It's happened, I believe, Gabe Landeskog, some things like that. And any edge you can take going into the NHL playoffs, I will take that. And Panger, I guess we can talk lightly here. That's a lot of money that could be created. Brett, I think I'd put a screenshot in there of the Oilers Puckpedia salary picture and whatnot, because it does create that 5.125. We expect with some accruals, could be up to in total of like $7 million maybe at the deadline. They got options galore, brother. Obviously, top 4 defensemen. At the top of that list, I'd like him to be right shot. Feels like right now there's not a ton of right shot, right side defensemen out there on the market. Frank Saravalli has dropped his recent trade targets list. Brett, we have another one with just all the defenders on that list for trade targets. Banger, with all that money, anybody specifically that's kind of coming out to you there that you're seeing? We've talked this ad nauseum, obviously. We love trade season here at Oilers Nation. Any names there or some names that aren't on that list?
I I got one for the forwards. I don't know if he's on the list. Can you put up the forwards list?
It'll just be all of them, 1 to 25.
Okay.
Who is it? Yeah.
I really liked what Trent Frederick brings.
He's on the list.
Is he on the list?
Number 13.
Is he on the list?
Believe.
I like here's kind of a theory that I have in regards to that. Last game, do you remember when Knobloch put McDavid and Draisaitl together? When did he do it?
In the first period.
In the first period. And he puts those two together when he needs something to motivate the team and to get them going. And I feel that nuclear line, that break glass in case of emergency line, shouldn't be the first thing. And I think the Oilers need someone like Trent Frederick to kind of change the pace of the game, to throw, he's a 6'3", 220-pounder, start getting in people's faces. The game against Boston, he got in Corey Perry's face.
You're literally describing what he did with the Oilers.
Corey Perry. Yeah. And he knows how to put elder abuse. He knows how to put the puck in the back of the net. He's scored 18 goals last season. He's at a $2.5 million contract, and I think he's got he's a UFA after this year. I think he'd be the perfect third or fourth line guy for the Oilers.
Oh, dude, he'd bring in that energy. We all talked about it, I think, on that game was Tuesday, right? So Wednesday's ONE, we were talking. That guy would be perfect. And what you just described is what he did in that game against the Oilers. They were up substantially, try and get your team back in it. Somebody else to put out there when you're not going supernova. I think there's a big discussion from Liam specifically. He said he really didn't like how early Nobby went to supernova. The way my opinion was that it's break glass in case of emergency. That was 10 minutes in. That was close to emergency point there.
True.
That's why I understood it. Defenseman, anybody stand out to you? The name that's been around a ton, Ivan Provorov here, number 8 on the list. But we've heard rumors that he wants to stay in Columbus and maybe sign an extension. The one name for me, Bowen Byram. I don't know what that would take to get him out. I think a lot, but a man can always dream. Rasmus Ristolainen being one. And then there's a couple names that were on Frank's initial trade targets list in Marcus Pettersson and one Mike Matheson. They've kind of been taken off the list as Habs are playing better hockey. Penguins are fighting for that playoff spot. Is there anybody not on the list, maybe one of those guys that stands out to you on the back end?
Actually, Frank Saravalli brought it up with Stauffer last night. Connor Murphy, who's of the Chicago Blackhawks, he's injured right now. He's kind of a Band-Aid right now, but he's kind of at everything that you might want in a top 4 guy. He plays, I think he's second most minutes on the blue line for the Chicago Blackhawks. Right shot, he's $4.4 million. So I'm thinking, if you get him retained, maybe like 50%, and then you bring in a Frederick, that's under your $7 million that you might have, and you got a top 4 guy.
And that's some playoff guys right there. Frederick, he's got that playoff style. Connor Murphy, I think he's 6'4", like 210, something like that. Bring me some size into this organization. But that's enough of trade talk. We're here for pregame talk. And this evening, they're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Rough game on Thursday, or rather, a rough 20 minutes in that game. The Oilers down 3-0, not even 10 minutes into that hockey game. They were not ready to start that one. They paid for it instantly. Matthias Ekholm had mentioned kind of post-game, you can't spot anyone in this league a 3-0 lead and expect to find a way to win. But after that first period, the Oilers totally took over. The shots were 36-13 in those final 40 minutes. Shout out Nedeljkovic. He did make some pretty good saves there, but the Oil scratched and clawed ultimately did fall short. One issue, they did not score first. They allowed the Penguins to kick them down, kick them early, as you can say in that game. Quickly here, thoughts on that game? It was kind of just 20 bad minutes. They paid the price for it. The rest of the game, I can't really complain. The Oilers dominated the Penguins for 40 minutes after that.
Yeah, heading to that game, I think the one statistic that was standing out online was the Oilers are 7-0 in the last 7 games against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I think equally the Pittsburgh Penguins put that on their bulletin board and says, you guys haven't won a game in 7 games against these guys. And so they came out hard. And I think the Oilers, they played a near flawless game the game before against Boston. I kind of feel that they were just, hey, you know what, let's go into Pittsburgh, pick up an easy 2 points. And that was not to be had. The Penguins came out hard.
Yeah, and you got Sidney Crosby on the other side. You can never take a team lightly, but you look at this stretch, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Maybe some letdown spots from trap games there as well. I don't think tonight can be a trap game because of that piss poor effort on Thursday. I think the Oilers are going to be highly, highly motivated in this one. I just mentioned the roadie. Brett, you want to pull the calendar back up for me as well? It's the first big orange L for the month. First one in a long time. In the month of January specifically, they've gone 2-1 on this roadie. Brett, we went through the month to start this. We went through the month to start the new year, and we said 3-1 in this stretch. That is what I expected. You have the opportunity to go out and do exactly what we had hoped for tonight, and it does come against a team. I'll say it. You should shit stomp this team. Chicago is dead last in the NHL. 32 out of 32. They're 2 points below the San Jose Sharks. Hawks, arguably worst team in the league. I mean, they are statistically there. They're playing their second game in as many nights. Last night, they were in Detroit, dropped that one 5-3, and then had to get back on a plane and come back to Chicago. Oilers could really, really use a commanding win. I see some people in the chat and on Reddit. They're like, this is a must win. I don't know about that, but you should win this hockey game, plain and simple. But I kind of mentioned this to you guys before. If you're an Oilers gambler, maybe cover your ears, but you're going to need to know this information because this stat really, really sucks. The Edmonton Oilers are 1-4 this season when they are road favorites of -200 or more. I repeat, 1-4 when -200 favorites on the road. Even furthermore from that, in 16 games this season, home or away, when the Oilers are -200 favorites, 16 games, they've won 5 of them in regulation. So for some reason, they have been playing with their food this year. Now, they have been getting it done entertainingly. I will give them that. Getting it done in overtime. And tonight's odds for the Oilers, -375 on the money line. So that stat gets me a little scared. But as I just mentioned, I don't know if it can be a trap game when you played that bad for 20 minutes against Thursday. I think the Oilers will be motivated, but that stat, a little bit baffling, Pangs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think tonight the Oilers are going to bring their A game, like you said. I think last game was such a stinker, and they've had a couple nights to sleep on it. And you know what? I think with Connor McDavid getting his Erie Otters jersey hung to the rafters last night, I think he's going to be seeing all the people that he used to hang around with in junior. I think he's going to have a mindset of like, hey, I'm going to bring it tonight. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see a big one. Good celebration, good turnout yesterday. I saw the line getting into that stadium. It was crazy before the game. Shout out Oilers Nation for posting that bad boy. Connor looked good. Wasn't wearing a shoelace belt. We're upgrading, boys. We're growing up over here. His pregame speech to the boys. Did you see it in the locker room? He was like, I take pride in wearing this jersey. This jersey was kind of nothing before I got here. That's really what he said. And that you guys need to continue to keep on building off that. I mean, would you say that's kind of what he said?
Honestly, that's what I thought to you, Bordzy. Oh, my God.
And I'm like, so hey, funny. Fair. I think he's pretty accurate in that statement as well.
Did he say something like, this means something now?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah. Really? Yeah, I was here, boys, so just realize who you're following. I love it.
Come on.
That's Captain Connor, boys.
The kid's like, I don't think we're ever going to do what you did over here. No pressure, though, kids.
I'm going to the OHA.
I don't know if you guys saw like images of when they all wore his jersey and they got on the ice. They were all just signed by McDavid.
Yeah.
Boys, get out there. Yeah, go.
Could you sign this before we go, please?
Shout out Connor. Not forgetting where he came from. So you got to like
that's
that
one way
as well, right? Talking about trap games against the Hawks. That already happened once this season. The Oilers, this is the second meeting between the two of them. They got shit pumped 5-2, I will say. I mean, on the scoreboard, 5-2 in the second game of this NHL season. If you remember, the Oilers outshot the Hawks 38-20 in that hockey game. Calvin Pickard did start in that one. We expect him again tonight. He allowed 5 goals on 20 shots. Tough first start of the season for our boy Picks. Connor Bedard, he scored in that one. He's also been on fire recently. He owns the NHL's highest point streak, active point streak right now at 9 games. And what was the other stat you were going to give me about Bedard, point chasing?
Actually, it was from Reese, but he's on career points number 99.
There we go. Milestone night here at the United Center. Connor Bedard, though, he's got what I think it's 39 points in 42 games. I got that later in your need to know, but he's only got 11 goals so far this season. A little disappointing in that regard. Maybe not the breakout season that many expected, but under their new coach, Anders Sorensen, he's been hot. The team, however, has not been hot. They got their coach bump when they fired Luke Richardson and brought in Sorensen. Won 3 games, and then since then, they're 6-10 under Sorensen. Looking like another rough year in Chicago. They brought in some big guns in Teuvo Teravainen, Tyler Bertuzzi, Alec Martinez, TJ Brody, but it has not worked. As I mentioned, dead last in the NHL. Hasn't really worked out. We'll talk Taylor Hall later. That dude has fallen far from great. He's fallen very, very far from where he was in his MVP season. But thoughts on the Blackhawks year so far? Thoughts on Connor Bedard's year so far?
Connor Bedard, he started off slow, but as the season progressed, he's gone better. He's on a 9-game point streak. I think tonight, being a Saturday night in the Windy City, of Saturday night against Connor McDavid, I think he's going to bring his best. But overall, like you said, they brought in depth pieces. Tyler Bertuzzi, 14 goals, and I think Tyler Bertuzzi's, he's been good as of late. But like you said, their depth players aren't enough, and I think where they are right now is exactly kind of where one would have thought heading into the season.
Rusty's, oh wait, no, I got that one next. Chicago's new coach bump is gone. They are an awful team. Yeah, speaking of awful teams, Chargers are charging it right now, says Dude Guy 777. I'm not even watching the game, and I know exactly what you mean when you say that. That's a tough look for the Charge. Dude Guy said, is Pickles playing? Pickles in the chat, let him know himself. Says, hell yeah, I am. Shout out Calvin Pickard. We haven't seen you in here a lot this year. I've missed you. But on your game starts, I'm happy you get in here. Throwing down at your courtesy like. Let's go now to our need-to-know information, courtesy of our friends from Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products out of their Leduc location. And for more info, go to WilhaukBeefJerky.com. You need to know for the Edmonton Oilers. So keep it locked here. Keep it locked on Twitter. I'm seeing what I do believe are some confirmations for the lineup. So we'll let you know. Mark Spector reported it. We got it now. You want to give me the Tony Brar tweet, which kind of breaks it all down right here. Lineup notes ahead of this one. Derek Ryan, Waz's boy, is in replace of one Jeff Skinner. More on that later. Skinner he had 3 points in a row, and then he plays 8 minutes in the last game. Bang, he's now watching from the press box more later. Troy Stetcher, he's in for Josh Brown. Stetcher sat out the last 2 games. What'd you just say there, Brett?
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that one. It's just like a gaping hole in that top 4 right D spot for the Edmonton Oilers. And then finally, our boy Calvin Pickard will be starting. Standings, just notes for you as well. The Oilers enter tonight 3rd in the Pacific Division, tied with the LA Kings, each with 53 points. Unfortunately, the Kings, they've got 2 games in hand on the Edmonton Oilers and the Oil. They're 6 back of the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're 7 up on the Vancouver Canucks for that 3rd spot. So we're feeling good. Just checking here. The Vegas Golden Knights play the Rangers. The LA Kings play the Calgary Flames tonight. So keep your eyes locked on the scoreboards. We know the Oilers had just won 4 in a row. That snapped. Time for a new win streak. And then finally, Leon Draisaitl. Come on, man. 31 goals now on the season at the halfway point of the season on pace. Quick math, 62 goals this year. He's first in goals, first in even strength goals, first in game-winning goals, first in OT winners specifically. He's also riding a 16-game point streak against the Chicago Blackhawks. 13 goals, 31 points. Oh, also the other guy, Connor McDavid, riding a 10-game point streak against the Chicago Blackhawks. 9 goals, 21 points. Finally, Pickles gets the start, 9-4-0 on the year. Perfect cherry-picked matchup for our boy Pickles. Then we go to the Blackhawks, 14-26-2 on the year, 8th in the Central, dead last in the entire NHL. Here you get a look at the head-to-head team comparison. So the Oilers dominating most things. I do believe, is that power play percentage right there for the Edmonton Oilers? and the Blackhawks. Either way, point being, the Blackhawks power play, they damn good. They are 12th in the NHL. Yeah, there it is, 23.1%. That is correct. So they can score with the man advantage. Also, their PK, damn good, 83.6%. The one number that stands out to you there is goals against. They're 29th in the NHL per game. Brett, you got something for me there?
According to the NHL, it's 24%.
Bang. There we go. Hawks, as I mentioned, second half of a back-to-back. Lost in Detroit last night, but sneaky win. They beat the Avalanche 3-1 on Wednesday. Proving your point, you can't take anybody lightly in this league, especially in these dog days, January, February. They all kind of blend in together, especially on a roadie. And then finally, I think we expect Arvid Soderblom this evening. Peter Mrazek started last night in Detroit. Soderblom, 6-10-1 record. Respectable 292 goals against and a 905 save percentage. In front of that team, pretty good. And as we just learned, we've learned all year, the Oilers, all of the McDavid era, it feels like. We can get goalied by anyone at any point. You never know. Thoughts on the goaltending battle tonight a little bit, Pickard?
Oh.
I love it. Great cherry-picked matchup for him to get. And then Soderblom, those are good numbers. I believe he's played one career game against the Edmonton Oilers, and he got lit up in that one. 5 goals on 42 shots. November 30th, 2022. I always love picks. I see him in the chat. I'm not just saying that because he's in the chat, but confidence in picks right now?
Absolutely. I think every time I chat with you, we kind of know what we get with Calvin Pickard, right? Not too high, not too low, but just pretty steady Eddie.
Yep.
And it's so funny. A buddy of mine, he's been a goalie for all his life, and he's like, he kind of reminds me. He says Calvin Pickard reminds him of a beer league goalie, and that he flops everywhere, but he makes the saves that he needs to. So yeah, I like Calvin Pickard,
but a really good beer league
Yes.
goalie, the guy that you're always calling to come play with you.
Absolutely.
And your team. You need to bring in a ringer. Attaboy, Cat, we're bringing in the ringer tonight. There we go. That's the way I'm going to positively spin that one. Let's go now to our Sherwood Ford Giants storyline and a key to victory if you've got one in the chat. It's brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Tired, excuse me, you got a cough there. Tired of dealership hassles? Sherwood Ford in Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their Giant Deal program. Get clear, no nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online with all incentives included. Plus, you can enjoy the ease of mobile service, free pickup and delivery, and same day or next day service appointments. I guess a storyline or a key to victory, something I'm watching tonight specifically is how do you start this hockey game? Chicago, second half of back-to-back, hitting the ice less than 24 hours later after they did last night. And we all saw what happened on Thursday against the Pittsburgh Penguins, down in a 3-0 hole, not even 10 minutes into that game. So I think Nobby is going to have the start be an emphasis in this hockey game. You're on the road, final road game. Empty the tank, load the clip, as you would say, or empty the clip, as you would say. And the Oil, I do believe they're 16-4-3 when they score first this season. So we all know it. You can play with the lead, play relaxed, feel good, and the Chicago team, I guess the only other key is, for me, make it 5v5 as much as you can. We see those respectable special teams numbers there. You roll all 4 lines against this team, you should whomp them, specifically 5v5. And the Oil, they've also won 6 of their last 7 against the Hawks, including 3 in the United Center. Looking to keep that going. You got a storyline or a key to victory? You got something for me here?
I got a little interesting stat, and it's so funny. Every time I think I bring up advanced analytics, all I have is Bordzy in my head being like, nerd. But anyway,
Good.
Yeah, like for sure,
Good.
like guaranteed. But I was just snooping around on this earlier, and we saw that. We saw that Troy Stetcher's coming in for Josh Brown, and I thought this was kind of interesting. I was looking at defensive pairings, minimum 200 minutes played, and the pairing of Darnell Nurse and Troy Stetcher are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in the league in high danger chances for percentage at 59.78. So I think with Troy Stetcher coming back into the lineup over someone like Josh Brown, I think the offense at 5v5 is going to flow a little bit better.
Those are 2 guys in Nursey and Stetcher who are not afraid to step up in the rush and step up in the play. sometimes can get yourself out of position. Sometimes it looks beautiful. Brett, you're shooting me a very weird look. What you got right now?
No, nothing. I'm just looking at chats and seeing who's in chat. So I just love everybody here. I haven't done a show in a while.
Over there, homeboy?
I tell you, we can. We can.
Let's take a peek now. Let's go through what we expect to be the Edmonton Oilers' projected lineup this evening. Hit it for me. If you got it for me here, Bert, top line. We're back, baby. The experiment, thank the Lord, I do believe, is over. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zachary Martin-Hyman. Second line stays the same. I don't know if it's ever going to change. Pods with Dry and Victor Arvidsson. And your third line is the return of Brown Mark featuring Rico, Matthias Janmark with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. Fourth line, Kasperi Kapanen with Derek Ryan, our boy Waz's boy with Corey Perry. And on the D-core, it's Ekholm with Bush, Nurse with... We saw this, and we work for Daily Faceoff. Yeah. We're a parent company. We're a family here. We'll just lay off him. They had Connor Brown in there. I think they meant Josh Brown. It's also going to be Troy Stetcher, but we just thought it'd be funny there. Brett Kulak with Ty Emerson.
Probably did not have a Josh Brown one made. No. Or whoever does it, I think it's Brock, was just like, I'm going to put it away. Never heard of this guy.
Yes, we get a look at it there. The big story coming into this one for me is the return of Zachary Martin-Hyman on that top line. Thank the Lord, as I said, Zach Hyman, you kind of felt bad for him, right? As I think he's gone 7 games now without scoring a goal. It was a good experiment. Like I mentioned repeatedly, the dog days, if you want it, and it was a move, I think, to get Skinner and Adam Henrique going again. And it did happen. Skinner had 3 points in 3 games. Rico had 2 goals in that one previous game. But I feel enough is enough here when it's starting to come at a little bit of a detriment to your top line. And Connor McDavid went through, you don't even want to say like a dry spell. It was literally 2 games. He had a 12-game point streak before that. And then he comes out in the last game, just puts up a casual 3 assist night. But you go back to what you know, finish the road trip strong. Nuge, McDavid, and Zach Hyman. I love all the Zach Hyman props tonight. Connor, he's going to be feeding them. He misses his boy. I also mentioned to you, we got Team Canada resumes to be building here, trying to pad these stats. Let's get him back up to the top line with the big dogs in Connor McDavid. Thoughts on Zach Hyman returning to the top line, where I think we would all agree he should be.
Absolutely. I think it's about time. Hyman, he before he was put on that line, he was scoring. It was kind of puzzling why they did that. But hey, like you said, try to get some other guys going. And, you know, when he was on that third line, one thing that I observed was he got his legs kind of going. And I thought that was kind of a good example for his line mates. Like, oh, that's what we should do. So I kind of thought that was really good. So I like him. He's well-deserved back on that first line. And shout out to him in that family money of buying an OHL team recently. So
isn't that insane? The jokes do kind of write themselves now. So fair play. Anybody who's got chirps. Yeah. I agree. Like when he was on that third line, the big question we had for the stretch that he was there is, can Zach Hyman be a play driver? Can he drive his own line? I think he did through and through. He had the puck on his stick way more than usual with 97. Let's go back to what we know, baby. Put your nose down, go to the front of the net, lead with the bubble. Lead with the bubble. And I think that was also, like, as you mentioned, a little puzzling when Nobby took him off. Yeah. I thought personally that maybe the bubble might have had a little bit to do with it, of a little bit less workload, a little bit less ice time out there, but he was also kind of asked to do more on that third line, which leads me to my opinion of that move was to light the spark underneath Jeff Skinner and Rico. It worked. Jeff Skinner had 3 points in 3 games. Then you go into Thursday's game against Pittsburgh. You're down 3-0, 10 minutes in. Nobby changes up the lineup, puts Skinner on the fourth line. He plays 8 minutes in that game, barely even noticed anything. And then tonight we see he's going to be a healthy scratch. Little bit puzzling for me because Nobby in his interviews had said, I'm loving the confidence specifically I'm seeing from Jeff Skinner. He's starting to roll. He's got that look in his eye. We want to keep giving him opportunities to build off that. And then we go down 3-0 at Pittsburgh. All of a sudden, all of that is out the window. And furthermore, I get it, dude. Some guys, you have a very healthy competition in the 12 forward group now for the Edmonton Oilers. Somebody's got to sit out night in and night out. You got to bring guys in, keep them fresh. If you remember last year, Ryan McLeod was a healthy scratch at points. Connor Brown, plenty at points as well. Just a little puzzling to me that Skinner was starting to do the things I think Nobby was asking. And then all of a sudden the rugs kind of pulled out from under him. And he's going to be watching from the press box this evening. Thoughts on the move?
One thing I want to say overall with Jeff Skinner, the one thing I like when he scores, but another thing that I like is that when he's demoted to the third and fourth line, the one thing that's noticeable that he doesn't do is sulk and complain and slap his stick. He just asks he just does what's asked of him. And the fact that he's out of the lineup, like you said, this is the best stretch of hockey that Jeff Skinner has played with the Oilers this season. And he's the one thing that stands out is that he's using his teammates more. He had a nice pass to Henrique. He set up Nurse within the last few games, and he scored a beauty goal against the Seattle Kraken. So I don't know what it is, but I think he's in Chris Knobloch's doghouse. I have a theory? Can I share it?
Please.
Okay. With Jeff Skinner, he leads he holds the record for most regular seasons games played without playing in the playoffs. I think no matter what, he's like, when he gets demoted, he's like, give me any role. I want to be on this team. And he has a no movement clause. And so that being said, I think he's like, he doesn't sulk. I'll do whatever you want. I want to stay on this team. I'm not moving my no movement clause. And I think this is a complete theory. Maybe they're healthy scratching him to saying, okay, well, we won't play you. I don't know because it's puzzling.
It's got the potential to get ugly, like if something like that happened, right? But I agree with you. You're Jeff Skinner. You've played this much in your career. I ain't waving shit for nobody, brother. You can lock me up there in the press box. I'll wait for an injury, knock on wood, and I'll get my way onto the ice. I'll crash the ice and say I skated in playoff hockey before, but it's a weird one. I see some people in your West Side chain. Skinner is getting screwed, to be honest. Doug, wait. Jeff Skinner is totally getting effed over. Yeah, you're new. I mean, yeah, there you go as well. Put Jay Skins on the Blackhawks top six. Or on the Blackhawks, he's top six with power play time. But I don't think Jeff Skinner wants to go to the Chicago Blackhawks. I'd agree with that. He's played a lot of hockey games without any postseason action. So hopefully he can figure it out. And just the puzzling part to me, I keep saying, he had 3 points in 3 games. He was doing everything you kind of wanted him to do in limited ice time. And then just all of a sudden, the rug's pulled out from under him. Only other thing, we talk about this, I do a little bit frequently, so I want to bounce this off you. Top 4 right side defense. That's a big hole in this lineup. You're putting in Stetcher. You're putting in Josh Brown. That's putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, in my opinion, when it is Josh Brown. I've been banging this drum repeatedly, so I'm curious your opinion. Why hasn't Ty Emerson been given a shot yet? Why have we not decided to do this? He has now played, and I looked it up, 69 career NHL games. Nice. Shout out to him for that. But he's just getting better and better, dude. Third pairing minutes, playing great with Ekholm on the PK. I want to see this be tested out before the NHL trade deadline comes around. And I just think Emby, he's learned on the job all season long, getting better and better. I have a quote here from him. He said, there are times to make plays, and sometimes there are times not to make plays, and that's the best play that you can make. So I think just continuing to build on that, making plays when they're there, but also understanding it's not a make or break. Just clear the puck out and do something. Music to my ears. Sounds like a young Brett Kulak, if you ask me. But do you think Emby will ever get the shot before the trade deadline? Do you kind of follow my logic that I'm like, just give it a test drive before the deadline? Because what if it works?
That's true. And I feel with Ty Emerson, heading into the season, there was a lot of pressure on him. He's going to a team 1 goal away from winning the Stanley Cup in Game 7. So when he was put on there in the second pairing to start, he kind of faltered, and then he's had to work his way up. I think they're at a point now where they're kind of scared to give him too much, and they're going to ease him in. And I will say one thing that they have kind of been experimenting with it a little bit. A few games ago, they're putting him in the last couple of minutes of games to defend leads with Matthias Ekholm. But that being said, yeah, let the kid go for it, man. I think he's got the potential to do it.
Give it a period. Give it 2 periods. See what you got. See what you can do with the guy. And also, second one, Should they be locking this dude up ASAP? Because I believe now he's played enough games, or Will is on pace to play enough games that you can re-sign him and he's an RFA. I don't want to redo this whole Philip Broberg thing all over again less than a year later. Should they lock him down?
100%. And I saw some numbers like 3 years, maybe like 1.9 or something like that. Here's what do you think about this? I've been mulling this over. Top end, and if he could even become, and I'm not saying this is who he's going to become, but if he can become 75% of a Jason Smith, and the reason why I say that, he reminds me of him in the sense that he's not a big guy, big looking guy, but he crushes dudes in the corners, and his forearm shiver, and he has a decent first pass. If he could be like 75% of Jason Smith, that'd be like amazing.
That would be unreal. I'll take that top 4 any day. I see who just said it in here as well. Lock him up cheap and long. Yep, couldn't have said it better myself. And that Tyler has the theory they're not giving him top 4 minutes yet because they're going to sign him to a third pairing deal and then immediately throw him on the top 4 and say, bargain. Let's go. Let's go now. Starting goaltender report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Hit the trails this winter and the waves next summer. As fellow hockey fans, the team at Power Sports and Marine are helping Oilers Nation fans gear up. They're home of an ATV for just $50 bi-weekly, or cruise the open water with a boat for as low as $105 bi-weekly. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine are hockey fans, helping hockey fans get ready for their next adventure with motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, boats, and scooters. Taking a look here. So it's going to be our boy Calvin Pickard against one Arvid Soderblom. Picks 9-4-0. Record 246, goals against 898, save percentage. The Oilers goalies just going up and going down, and then going back up, then going down below 900. A man can dream. Picks last game, win over Seattle. He only had to stop 16 of 18, was not tested all that much, and that was a cherry-picked matchup, much like this one is as well, much like most of Calvin Pickard's games are. And I hope that he remembers game 2 of this season when he got pumped for 5 goals on 20 shots against these Blackhawks. Really hurt those numbers. I hope he keeps that one fresh in the memory bank. I'm confident in picks tonight. I kind of asked you this already.
Yeah. I'm kind of always confident in picks. He's just, again, he's just steady Eddie back there. He makes the saves that he should save. And I kind of think back, if I am ever feeling not confident, I just trying to think back of what he did for us in the playoffs last season.
Clutch Gene, brother. He's got ice in his veins through and through. Arvid Soderblom, he's the other one. So he's got good numbers, above a 900 in those 17 appearances this year. The Hawks in general have a combined 887 save percentage. They are third last in the league in goals against. That has to do with goaltending, also has to do with the defense in front of them. Soderblom, respectable numbers. I mentioned he's been pumped by the Edmonton Oilers before, but I hate that I have this deep-rooted fear that's never going to leave me, that when I hear a goaltender, a backup specifically against the Oilers, I go, shit, man, is this going to happen? Like the GTA, here we go again. Oh, shit. That's not going to happen again today, right?
I don't know. You're scaring me with all these stats. I'm like about to call you a nerd with all these stats you're spewing now. They're scaring the crap out of me, Bordzy, but I really hope not. Hey, buddy, you get a load of the nerd over there? Let's go now. Let's take a peek at the projected Chicago Blackhawks lineup, brought to you by Greta Bar, downtown Edmonton. Great spot pregame, even better spot postgame, if you ask me. Weekday, weekend. Come on now. You want to get down there? They got an awesome TV setup if you want to watch the game. They got awesome arcade games during the intermissions. You're just overload of fun when you are at Greta. Awesome food, weekly drink specials, and Panger. We're going to be back at Greta for some parties during the Four Nations, and then we got our Greta schedule the rest of the year. We're picking them up, and we're going to get our livers ready for the NHL playoffs, because as you know, that was a lot of fun, and we can't wait to do it again. Bert
Pull it up for me, brother. The projected lineup for the Chicago Blackhawks. Top line, Tyler Bertuzzi with Connor Bedard and Ilya Mikheyev. Nick Foligno with Jason Dickinson and Teuvo Teravainen. Colton Dach with Frank Nazar. Nazar. And then Lucas Reichel. Fourth line, Taylor Hall with Ryan Donato and another former Oiler, Patty Maroon, who we also covered, Brett. Technically our coworker because he comes on Morning Cup of Hockey once a week for the Nation Network. Kind of a stretch. I'm calling him my coworker.
Guy always steals my lunch in the office. It's awful.
He doesn't label his lunch in the virtual
Can't stand
fridge.
it. I'm starting to bring tuna next week.
D-Core, D pairings, Alec Martinez with Seth Jones, Alex Vlasic with LC, as I called him earlier, but we looked it up. It's Louis Crevier, I do believe, Nolan Allen with TJ Brody. So, Brett, go back to the forwards there because we see number 71, Taylor Hall, the bottom of this lineup, fourth line minutes, and I'm just going to say it. Is Taylor Hall washed? He's 33 years old right now. He's got 8 goals and 21 points in 41 games played. And this one baffled me. I shared this with Brett earlier. Did you know that since 2017-2018, when Taylor Hall won the MVP for the New Jersey Devils, he has won 20-goal season since then, and that season he scored exactly 20 goals with the Boston Bruins. He is always injured, feels like, been incredibly disappointing, been passed around from team to team, it feels like, trying to find a home. And I know a lot of Oiler fans keep joking, maybe jokes have some truth, and some joke with them, asking, should the Oilers acquire Taylor Hall at the deadline? I look at those numbers. I don't think I want anything to do with Taylor Hall, especially at that cap hit. My question to you, is Taylor Hall washed?
Yeah, things are a little different since 2010 when I saw him at Billiards Club and I fanboyed with him and Jordan Emberley, trying to get their autographs, and they didn't want anything to do with me. Things are changed since back then. Taking a look at his stats. Boston Bruins 4 years ago, 61 points, just been on the decline, 36, 4, 21. Yeah, or can it be, he's on a bad Hawks team?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he's been on good teams
That's true.
Can't stay healthy and can't score goals.
Yeah, that's true.
Your best ability is your availability, and that's
true.
one thing that Taylor Hall severely lacks at.
He was at Billiards?
Yeah, he was.
Didn't know that was his hangout spot.
Yeah.
I thought it was Joey's, Earl's, and Moxie's from that video. Also, shout out Chicklets. I had to listen to the Taylor Hall interview with Whit and Biz the other week. It was like a week ago. Yeah. Just a trip down memory lane. You got to love it. Shout out to Halsey. I love the guy.
Yeah.
We'll always love the guy. I just don't think he's someone. Brett, where do you come out on that? You're a Taylor Hall aficionado. Yeah. Is he washed?
Washed. I think his bar star days are probably washed. He does have a family and a wife and a kid to deal with.
That guy's never washed.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. He would be one of those guys as soon as he walks into the bar, it's like nothing ever left. So that's fair. No, I think he's just become an older, more mature player. I don't think he's the teams that he's been on. He doesn't have to be that guy that he was with Edmonton, that he was with Phoenix, that he was with
I'd argue the Blackhawks could use him to be that guy.
Yes, but the Blackhawks are generationally awful.
Yeah,
so Connor Bedard isn't being that guy either. So it doesn't really matter. Him being on the fourth line is crazy. Let's Jujar Kara territory. But I think it's we're basically waiting for him to be moved. It's a matter of where.
Yeah. He's getting older, and like the one thing, main part of Taylor Hall's game, especially earlier, was his speed. Bunch of injuries that he's had so far, maybe his best asset behind him. And we were talking about bar stuff. I wasn't going to bring this up, but you guys mentioned it, and this comment made me laugh. Your new stepdad said Taylor Hall took my ex-wife out to a nice lobster dinner and never called her back. No class. I also read the rest of the stuff you guys put in the chat about Taylor Hall. Can't read those ones.
Wild.
But there's some pretty funny stuff in there.
Also reading some of the chat, I'm like, I think I know a couple of people. I think we have a few mutual friends.
Yeah, I think everybody. All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah,
that's enough
sorry,
of that.
I should have brought that up.
We're going back to the ice. Brian, you just want to pull the lineup back up for me. I always ask if you could pick a player to watch this evening, who would you go with? Obviously, Connor Bedard is out there. Tyler Bertuzzi's had some respectable numbers so far this year. Who's your player to watch tonight?
You know what? Let's go with Teuvo Teravainen. I think he scored 2 goals last night. He's riding a heater, feeling confident, so that will be my pick tonight.
Bert, what about you?
I'm going to Jason Dickinson.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about Jason Dickinson heading into the deadline. I like, honestly, every single time I see Jason Dickinson play, he has been utterly fantastic. Been all over the ice, been all over the puck, winning board battles, puck battles, and getting on the score sheet. So for me, it would be Jason Dickinson tonight.
Yeah, I believe that was mentioned the other day on Oilers Nation every day. Was it Bruce Kurlock?
It was Bruce Kurlock and Matt Larkin. Check out our clips.
So many guests on Oilers Nation every day. We lose track. You should be watching that show every day. 12:01 Mountain Standard Time, Monday through a Friday. For me, I'm going Tyler Bertuzzi. He's a rat boy through and through, but he's one of those rat boys you want on your team. He's got 14 goals in 42 games, only 22 points, but he's a guy who can get you off your game and whatnot. Also, just a toothless grin for the ages, I think you can say, with Tyler Bertuzzi. And on the back end, I believe, Reese, you said Alec Martinez. He just got brought back from injured reserve, right? So first game for him, some veteran presence on the back end there as well. But it's time for us to talk some bets. But before we do that, I also kind of works into itself here. Talk about Vegas, the nation vacation. We're heading to Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. I knew Brett's got backup vocals. That's my boy there. March 30th to April 2nd. Visit nationgear.ca for more details. We've got the flight options fully loaded. Come hang out with us, stay with us, do everything with us. We're staying at Circus Swim, I believe, on Fremont Street. I've never stayed on Fremont before. Have you?
I haven't stayed there, visited. I love Fremont.
Fremont is a vibe. I said you never know what time of day it is or anything. You're just going. You're just going. Pump the oxygen in, baby.
I was actively showing my girlfriend where we were staying, and all she could say was "Good for you." Good for you. So this is going to be a fun trip.
Brett and I are rooming together for this bad boy.
Yeah,
Chaos indeed, boys. So we've got the flight options, then non-flight, where if you don't live in Edmonton or you want to use points. We've also got another thing that you can just watch the game with us in the Stella Artois Lounge. So if you want to cover everything, but you want to get a little bougie with the boys, because that one, all your booze, all your food already accounted for.
Cool.
Look at me, eye contact, T-Mobile Arena. I'm getting my money's worth. I am getting my money's worth when we head out there. Brett, it's going to be a great time. Also, shout out to Flair Airlines. But now, let's talk some bets, courtesy of our friends from Bet365. Bet365 is a proud partner of Pregaming with Bordzy. Open an account today and bet on a huge range of markets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Download the app today and use the code NATION. Panger, what does that spell?
Oh, sorry. I was
Nation.
reading the chat.
Exactly. We got to make a less confusing code. All right, Bert, hit it for me if you can. First options, said I'm going Hyman-centric. There's a lot. It's a tough one to gamble on today for the Oilers. As I mentioned, they're like minus 350 favorites. I do believe in this. So what I went with, my boy ZMH is back on the top line. I'm riding with him. I'm confident. I mentioned we got resumes to build, brother. So I'm taking over 3.5 shots on goal plus 145. He has been shooting right around 3 a game when he's been on the third line. All of my brain here is saying 97 is feeding him pucks galore. Expect Hymes to be on the receiving end of some 97 passes. Next one, I was just trying to find value out there. There's tough value on Bet365 tonight. RV, 1+ point right above even money plus 105. He's got 3 points in his last 4 games. Chicago, 29th in goals allowed. Leon Draisaitl, been a dog. His odds weren't too great, so I thought I'd pick the next skilled guy that he's going to be playing with 5v5. Finally, Zachary Martin Hyman. Anytime goal plus 140. He hasn't scored in 7 games, but he's returned to that top line. I am chasing the juice with that one as well. Plus 140 for Hyman anytime goal. That's got some juice with it as well. Panger, if you had to pick one of these 3 bets, which one do you like the most?
They're all good. Like they're all really good. I think they're all going to hit.
You flatter
tonight.
me, brother.
They're all going to hit tonight. I don't know. For you know what, Hyman anytime goal. Let's go with that one.
Yeah, it does. Bert, what do you like of those three? And then, do you got anything going over there that might have 8 legs and is creepy and crawly?
I do have something going, and it is a spider, but not of 6 legs, a daddy long legs, as some would say. That only has 6, as I learned. But I do like the Heim goal, anytime goal, especially him being back on that line. Like you said, Aaron Connor's going to be looking for his boy tonight, and I think he is going to be reaping some rewards. Is that what it is? Either way. My daddy long legs today. I am committing to that. I have oil money line as per usual. I have an RV point. I don't know why. I've just been feeling
I have
RV.
that mine, so let's
Oh
run.
yeah, there we go.
Let's run,
Yeah,
'cause you're
bang.
smart.
Bang!
Holding for 3.
I have a Leon goal as well. Boosh over 2.5 shots after his utter explosion. Reese is pumping his fist. Total block shots for Nursey. 1.5, as you know, I like hitting those block shots now that I know what hockey is. And picks, Big Daddy, Pickles, over 20.5 saves. I felt like that was kind of low, so I might as well hammer that as we go. Always doing this responsibly with the 6 legs of the good old daddy long legs, but I don't know. I'm feeling kind of decent about that.
I like that.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and
it's
like-
not too outrageous.
Sometimes on games like these against the lesser opponents, you got to spread the wealth out to find some good value.
I
there.
didn't take the over.
Just a couple of legs there as well. Yeah, the over.
Stupid.
10 minutes into that game on Thursday,
Dude.
I was like, "Wow, I felt pretty stupid for not doing that."
I was hammered. I took a look at
You were
my
hammered?
my bankroll. Well, yes, I took a look at my bankroll and said after that 4th goal, the only one that hit was the over, and I was like, good. I hate myself.
I hate myself. Westside Shane, bet dry 2+ points every single game. Yeah, I have been doing that one as well. Transparency, I'm probably going to throw down on that one as well right now. Rusty also said biology with Brett.
I almost nailed biology until I met a girl in that class, and then I just stopped caring, and I failed chemistry 3 times. So don't follow me in science. Yeah, there we go.
I failed chemistry as well.
We did great in social, though.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, didn't you guys go to the same high school?
No, but we had the same
Yeah, same
teacher.
teacher.
Yeah.
That's
Shout out,
what it
Mr.
was.
Luck.
Goose.
Reese, it's your moment. Brett, you want to pull up his mic for him? Use either one there. If you got one pick for me on the Bet 365 front, Reeser, what do you got for me, dog?
I've got Zach Hyman 1+ power play points. It said plus 205. He hasn't gotten a power play point in the last few games, but I think he's going to start popping now. He's back up on the top line.
See, that makes me feel better that I'm on the Hyman train tonight.
Oh yeah.
That means as well. Brett, your laptop is also right here on my finger. Look. Oh. There it goes.
So just wanted to make sure that people could see me.
You don't want to see that search bar, brother. I'm kidding.
Nope.
Let's shout out our friends finally before we head out here. Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day. Perfect for every day. You can find them 2 locations in the Edmonton area or, of course, liquorconnect.com or just tell your local liquor store attendant, I want these. They can order them. Very simple. And come on now. They're tall boys. They got a little bit extra in there. I've always said 2 of them. Got you feeling perfect through an Oiler game. And Bang, I don't know if you can see, but there's
That was the first thing I saw. The palette.
there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them right around the corner from here. Odd Company, we love you and we appreciate you. Final one, boys. Score prediction. Anytime goal scores, hit me. Pangs, you go first.
5-2 Oilers.
And anytime goal score.
Hyman.
Yeah, Brett.
I have, you know what? I'm going heavy 7-1 Oil. I think they're just going to batter. And obviously, I'm going Heim. I got to follow my daddy long legs. Daddy!
7-1. Let's
Banging.
go,
We're
brother.
banging,
Let's
boys.
go. I'm happy with that. For me, I'm going to go with 5-2 Edmonton Oilers. The complete reverse of what the Blackhawks did to the Oil on the second game of the NHL season. And much like my boy Panger, ZMH is going to get on the score sheet. All right, that'll do it for us pre-gaming this afternoon. Keep it locked here on the Oilersnation YouTube channel because we're going live. The same 3 of us, 4 of us, including Reese. We'll get a mic. We'll judge you off your pick as well. ZMH, big night tonight. We do hope. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Throw down your courtesy like on the way out. And got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Sherwood Ford the Giant, Sherwood Power Sports Marine, Greta Bar Yegg, Bet365, Wilhock Beef Jerky, Odd Company, Come On the Nation Vacation, and Greta Bar Yegg. We do love you. Good luck out there on the Bet365 Battlegrounds, and we will talk right at the conclusion of this one. Peace out, everybody.